Good evening and welcome to Ostomies and Earrings with me, Sarah. Hope you're all having a good night. I just got home a little while ago. As you can see, I am in my scrubs. Whew, it's hard to see without my glasses. Whew, the eyesight is not what it used to be. But anyway, I just wanted to come on really quick before I get in my pajamas for the night and eat my dinner. I will show you my healthy dinner I've got. I can't wait. I've got some watermelon, as you can see, some rotisserie chicken wings, some cucumber, and a little bit of apple there. So that's going to fill me up real good and be virtually, if not all the way, carb-free. Of course, I've got my hot sauce for flavor. Me and my husband's choice when it comes to hot sauce. Cholula hot sauce. We love this one. It's our favorite. Yes, very good. So I'll be diving into that soon. Not real hungry. I had a big bole at work and I'm not that hungry. So I'm just going to nibble on as much of this as I can, and then maybe I'll take the rest for work tomorrow. Who knows? For lunch. I want to come on here with the topic tonight. And the topic tonight is activities. Activities, how it's changed through the years to me, what our duties and responsibilities are, and the common misconception about activities and why I have chosen through the years, in my 15 going on 16 years of working as an activities assistant, why I have chosen not to be a director. So here we go. I'll start out with that. Why I have chosen in all these years not to be a director even when it was offered to me. First of all, to be an activity director, you have to go and get the license. That wouldn't be a problem. I could do that. No problem. And I pretty much know, I've had a lot of activity director bosses, and most of them been awesome. There was a couple back in my early days. They were kind of questionable. But for the most part, all the activity directors and the current one now were like friends, almost best friends. Like, they have really been there for me. And I've tried to make it where they can depend on me and be a good assistant. Because talk is cheap. The proof is in the pudding, as we all know. And being an assistant is to assist. One of the reasons I don't, I may have went for activity director if I was still in my 20s or 30s. But at my age now, no. Because when I leave the job, I got a family I got to take care of. I've got my mom, my nephew, my husband, and that's a job in itself. I'm the one that pays the bills. I'm the only driver. Doctor appointments, you name it. I have a whole separate job from my job when I get home. As we all do. They all take their part. My mom and nephew, man, they clean the house. Sometimes my mom will cook once in a while. Laundry's done. I mean, amazing. Just amazing. And they look out for each other when I'm not here. Vice versa. So everybody plays their role. My husband takes care of the outside. He does his part, changes garbage and different things. And yeah, everybody does their part in the household. So it's not just me doing stuff, of course. But that being said, it is a role and it's a responsibility. So that's one of the reasons why, because as you know, activity directors, you're not on call per se, but like for instance, if there's a hurricane or tornado, a lot of times they have to stay. Like no choice, like the directors have to stay. Now there are certain things, if you are on duty, I think you have to stay as a CNA, or even activities, they'll schedule you A and B during the hurricane season. If something happens, there you go. We need you here. And I would definitely do that. And I haven't done it. No, I think my turn was this year. I got lucky. My coworker stayed with my boss, but I would do it, of course. We all have to pull our weight and pitch in. But I would have to bring my family with me, and they would let me because I'm not going to leave them out here by themselves during a hurricane or tornado. So luckily in healthcare, I wouldn't lose my job because I can bring them. Because family first, it's about them. Sorry, the family gonna come first, just like everybody. I have to protect them. Yes. So that's a, you know, states there they can't leave till like they leave till 7, 8, 9. God knows. Sometimes, I mean, a director in any department, not just activities, that's a lot of responsibility. And I've always tried to respect the directors no matter what department. That's a lot. And yes, they might get paid more. A lot of them, their salary. I wouldn't want to be paid on salary. That's another reason. Sometimes you end up putting in way more than you're getting paid with salary. Y'all probably know about that. But yeah, it's just a lot of responsibility. Do I know what the job entails? Yes, only because I've worked so long and I've had so many. I know what they have to do, and it's not easy. And it's a lot more than people think. Care plans, QAPI. Oh, gosh. What else do they have? I mean, they have to activities, the calendar planning, and you have to stay fresh and all this stuff. And it's a lot. It's a lot more than people think. So yes, I think for me, assistant's better. But I have appreciated through the years the offers, but no. I love what I do. And another thing about being the director, all this planning that they do, they minimal. They help with the parties, like the big parties, but they really rely on the assistants to run the activities. That's our main job, is to start an activity on time and follow through with it. Prepare. Help with the calendar planning, one-on-ones, documentation. There's a lot more to activities than people think. I've seen it through the years. They see what I do. They see me playing bingo in the dining room. Okay, they're like, geez, she's sitting there calling numbers. Well, that's an easy job. And I've seen people, they're like, oh, I want to work in activities. And then when they get there, I've seen really get disappointed because they didn't realize just everything you really have to do behind it. Because as I said in a prior video, if you're really doing your job, you go home tired. You got one-on-ones, documentation, running the activities. I mean, there's a lot in each day. And yes, you get to break in between, you know, but everybody breaks in between, most people. But yeah, I mean, there's mail passing. I mean, there's just a lot more to it than people think, assisting and directors. So that's one of the main reasons I like being with the residents. I love people. And if I was a director, you're just not going to be with the residents as much if you're an assistant. So yes, I've seen a lot of things. It's a lot of responsibility. I've seen director bosses that I've had fired over one documentation they didn't do. I don't want to go down like that. That's a lot of responsibility. Um, yeah, it's like, oh gosh, I think I'll just stay where I'm at. But yes, I really respect them because I know what they do. And sometimes they do get overlooked because they don't get seen as much by the residents per se, because they're in the meetings. They're in their office, calendars, doing all the behind work, and they don't get to be with the residents as much, unless maybe it's at a care plan or something, and, day to day. It's hard for them to break away because they have so much to do. Assessments, we try to help with those. I know about the assessments and things, and just try to be helpful. The documentation's important. If you don't document it wasn't done. And boy, it ain't nothing like it used to be. We have to do everything on paper for every resident, for every activity, all through the day. It was papers. You had to do a sheet every day on every resident. Whew, I'm so glad it ain't that like that no more. But still, it's time consuming and you have to make out time for it. And when you have a balanced day, and we pretty much do, we know we have the morning activity, then we have mail pass, or one will do mail pass, and why one does the activity. Um, then you have your lunch, your break, and then you get right back to it. One-on-ones, whatever your boss may need you to do. They'll let you know, hey, can y'all do this today, do that? Oh, yes, ma'am, we'll take care of it. Things like that, decorating. And decorating, I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to decorating. I like it to look nice, but I'm not one of those that says, oh, the tape has to be perfect. I have worked with people, like God love them. Even the tape had to be perfect. I'm just not. I like to make it pretty and okay, no, done. But, we do like to make it look nice for the residents. Of course, seasonal. And Christmas is the biggest one. Whew, put everything back in storage. But yes, those are some of the main reasons. I've done all kind of things. People say, oh, activity's easy. Don't get it twisted, because I have done some hard work in my time. I have worked in child care, stores, overnight convenience store. Did that for 4 years. Got robbed. Gosh, what else? I did the therapy assistant because I'm a coda. I did that for a little while. I worked in the school with kids with autism, Asperger's, all kind of stuff, special needs children, and things like that. I did that. Yeah, I've just done a lot through the years, different things. Housekeeping, I've done it. At camp, yeah, it's a military base near here, and that was the hardest physical job I ever had. Because you had a certain amount of things and you had to have them rooms clean at a certain time, and that was hard. Had to work in everything but lightning. They wouldn't let us work with lightning because it was a liability. But rain, I got bronchitis. Like that lady says, I got bronchitis. Sweet brown. But you know what I'm saying? I've done some hard work. You know? Never was really one to sit behind a desk. I'd rather be out. I'll sit behind a desk for a little bit, document, and that's a good time. You get a little rest while you document. So you take advantage. I'm going to take a bite of this cucumber if y'all don't mind. It's so good. You're just looking at me. It's good. It's good. Fresh. So yes, I've had my share of hard work in my time. I got grandfathered in. I was in the CNA for years. About 5 years ago, I don't know if it was Florida law change or maybe it was that particular place where I worked. Corporate or somebody said, look, she got to be a CNA. So the boss that I had and one of the nurses, I think, they paid for me to go to school. They paid for my time. And it was 4 days at express training. Now, that being said, that's exactly what it is express. There were some things I had to learn hands-on. Like Warrior Lift, they didn't teach us that at express training. That's something I had to learn by doing it. When I work as a CNA, I'm a little different. I mean, I try to give my all no matter what I do, but when I'm a CNA, I'm like going. Because there's always something to do. Whatever light. Ain't my light, ain't my... I'm asking anyway. Water. Get the water. I'm on the move. When I'm a CNA, I'm just on the move. I don't do it that often, but they will pull you when they see fit. And it's good they pull you because that's how you stay fresh. You need a little refresher sometime. Yeah. But I do like activities. The speed of it's good for me, especially I'm getting a little older. It's not too strenuous of job, but you do got to get out there. But I think the common misconception about activities is we don't do anything all day. Through the years, I've heard and seen that a lot. What are y'all doing? And they just, like I said earlier, they just don't see the stuff that we have to do in between. So a lot of times I had a situation today. The sweet CNA, God bless her. She brought 8 people down to bingo. God love her. But then people had to get back. And I had already taken the other people to the villa, and I had to clean up still. Bingo chips. I had to clean all that up, everything. But I took some down and I just said to her, there's still some more down there. Can y'all come get them? She was doing vitals. And she said, I can't get away. Can you get somebody else to do it? Well, I'll try. But because I had to, it made me late for the next activity. And the biggest thing, pet peeve, I would say about activities is, I don't know how my boss and some of my coworkers feel, but she spends a lot of time on these calendars. And sometimes we feel like people don't pay no attention to them. Not everybody, but I just wondered, do the staff look at them? We post these big calendars. Does anybody take a time and kind of look at them? I don't know. Like I say, I love what we do. We're here to bring joy. I had a state worker years ago, and he said, you have the hardest built job in the building. I said, no way. I said, sir, I know you're state, but these CNAs and nurses, I said, housekeeping, they have probably the hardest, dietary. Gosh. He said, you have to come to work every day, no matter what you're going through or what you're feeling, and be a cheerleader for these residents. And it's true. Sometimes, you have to kind of just, you leave it at the door. And that's a hard thing to do, but sometimes you have to do it. You come in to do your 8 hours, you got to leave your personal life, in the back, because you're here to work now. You're here for these people, But we're all human, And that's what a family does. They talk together. But yeah, I love activities. I'm glad for the work I'm able to do. I try to make it fun and friendly to everybody. Don't always work. You never know what somebody's going through. Yeah, that's the biggest common misconception. I've seen a lot of changes through the years too. When I first started, I had a lot more residents that like to play like board games, for instance. I can still get them to play cards, but board games, not very often. Things have changed, like with the cell phones. When I first started, people had cell phones, of course, but just they weren't on them as much, it seemed. Bingo pretty much always been the favorite all these years that I've done. Fingernails, that's probably one of the things I like to do the best because it's intimate. You get to talk to them and give them a special treat. So I think the fingernail painting, and Christmas light outing every year, that's probably one of my favorites through the year. Pet visits we may have, holidays. Parties are always a doozy in activities, and I used to do them by myself. I've got help now, but I remember the days when it was just me and my boss, and she would help me if she could, but I had to do everything. Everything by myself, and you had to learn to be fast. Lucky I had food service experience a little bit, fast food, where you have to be fast when I was younger, so I can get fast if I got to. But yes, we're here to make them happy. It's their home we're working in. But it has its challenges just like any other department. But I think that's the biggest thing is people think we don't really do anything and that we ain't got nothing to do. Like that lady today, honestly don't think she knew think that I had an activity I had to start. So I could bring 8 people back on myself way down the hall. Maybe she was just trying to get her work done. She had to get her vitals. I understand. I work with people. I know. But I'm just trying to make an example of how people don't think. They look at us and they're like, oh, they ain't got nothing to do. And especially on the weekend, there's only one of us. And the weekend is when we try to catch up on stuff. You know, and there's a Monday and Fridays where I work. There's only 2 of us. And the one lady's on memory care. So on Mondays and Fridays, it's one of us. But we make it work. We pull together when we need to. And I just love activities. I really do. I've been doing it so long now. I never thought that I would work in activities this long because I originally went to school to be therapy assistant. But you get the bug after a while and you just kind of want to stick with it. And I hope I'm going to just stick with it long as I can. Hopefully till 62. But I just wanted to come on and just speak about that a little bit. But God bless y'all. I hope y'all have... Oh, let me show you my earrings because it's Asstistant and earrings. These are just simple little gold discs that I wear when I don't want to wear nothing too fancy, especially at work. I try to wear smaller earrings at work because technically we're supposed to. Because you never know what might happen. So, but yes, I'm going to enjoy my healthy dinner and hopefully see y'all real soon in the next video. Take care and have a blessed evening. And just remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I. Take care.